Excellent. All right. Good morning, good afternoon. We're going to do a slow, juicy restorative class with a couple of blocks and a bolster, and really work on the shoulders today and just allowing ourselves a little bit of rest. So we're going to start with the block, and we're going to just come onto the mat and bring ourselves into a bridge prep pose with the feet on the ground and the knees towards the ceiling. And just take a breath here. Have your block handy so you can reach for it. Open your toes, feel the ground a little bit. And then go ahead and roll onto one shoulder. Take that lifted shoulder blade and just tuck it down. See if you can open up the front of the chest, and then roll onto that tuck shoulder blade and tuck the other one down. So you flatten those shoulders out a little bit. And then when you feel pretty stable there, just press into the feet, lift the pelvis. We're going to bring the pelvis up and slide the block or the book or the folded towel underneath the pelvis. And then you can bring your hands to the lower rib cage and just take a couple breaths here. If you feel the block on your spine, move it down towards the feet. So we're just lifting that big pelvic, the flat part of the back of the pelvic bowl. And we don't want the block or anything on our spine. And we're just going to take a couple breaths here with the hands on the lower rib cage. And just expand that rib cage and those lungs into the hands. And then let the belly drop as you exhale. Let the belly button fall towards the spine. And we're just going to take a couple more breaths here, just becoming aware of the body, how the breath is affecting the body, picking up a little sensory feedback with our hands and warming that area of the lower rib cage of the diaphragm with our hands. Go ahead and take another full breath in. Full breath out. And then we're going to draw the right knee towards the chest. You can interlace your hands around the front of the right knee. And then see how it feels to extend the left leg long. If it feels okay, you can keep the left leg long. If it doesn't feel good, just keep the left leg bent with the foot on the floor. And with each exhale breath, we're just going to draw the knee towards the chest. Now, if you feel any discomfort with the block underneath the pelvis, you can just take the block out or adjust the block, or use a folded towel instead of a block. Let's take about 3 more breaths here, directing our breath down into that area below the belly. Maybe you can feel your thigh compressing against the lower belly. One more breath here. On the exhale, really draw that leg in towards the chest. And then we'll take the foot up towards the ceiling, interlace the hands behind the thigh, and just roll that ankle out a little bit. Draw a big circle on the ceiling. And then just taking a few rounds of a real slow pointing of the toes towards the ceiling. Take a full breath in, really extending. And then exhale, draw the toes to flex the foot back so the toes are pointed the direction of the head. Press into the heel gently, and then on your next inhale, point the toes towards the ceiling, really pressing into the edge of the range of movement. And then exhale, draw the toes back towards the face. One more like that. And then go ahead and release any effort, roll out the ankle, at least one circle in each direction. And then draw the knee back towards the chest. Just give it a big squeeze on your next exhale. And then go ahead and set the right foot on the mat. Bend the left knee so the left foot is back in the mat and you're back in that bridge prep. Take a breath here with the hands again on the lower rib cage and just notice the difference between the left and right legs. Just do that simple movement. And then on your exhale, bring that left leg towards you, interlace the hands underneath the left knee on the shin. And you can, again, decide if you want to keep that right leg bent with the right foot on the floor, or if you're happy to extend that right leg. And if it feels different on this side, you're welcome to take the block out if it's still in, if it doesn't feel right. With each exhale, drawing that left knee towards the chest. Taking a big breath in, feeling the belly and the thigh, maybe making contact, and then on the exhale, draw the leg in again. And just taking a few more breaths like that. One more deep, big, full breath in. And exhale. Let that knee come even closer towards the chest. On an inhale, we're going to release the hold in the leg, interlace the hands behind the left thigh, and gently roll out that ankle of the left foot as you point those toes and the foot towards the ceiling. Now, sometimes you might be real tight in the leg. It might be hard to even straighten the leg. So if the knee is slightly bent, that's fine. You can always keep the knees soft. And then once you've rolled the ankle out in both directions, go ahead and take a full breath in, point those toes towards the ceiling, really stretching into your edge. And on the exhale, draw the toes to point back towards the face, gently pressing into the heel. A couple more like that. Really pressing into the edge, even after you reach the end of the range of movement. Last one. And then go ahead and make a circle with the toes, roll out the ankle, release the effort of the stretch. And then bend the left knee, bring the left foot on the mat. Now we're gonna see how it feels to extend both legs long now. You can take the arms out to the side, or you can keep the arms on the lower rib cage. Now, if this doesn't feel good for any reason, take the block out or bend the knees and have the block in. We're just going to take about 3 more breaths here and just direct our breath to where we feel tension. If you're feeling tension in the low back, bend the knees. One more breath here. And then go ahead and bend the knees one more time. Now, if you've taken the block out, I'm going to invite you to bring the block back in, or the other option is to have your hands underneath the sacrum. So you have your hands supporting that same area of the pelvis. We're going to come into legs up the wall virtually. So we're going to use the block or the hands to just get a little bit of help. So again, if the knees are quite bent here, see if you can just bring the whole leg back so you feel that there's no effort to this. So we want to stack the bones in a way where there's no effort. Both feet are going up towards the ceiling. If it doesn't feel good with the block, try it with the hands. If it still doesn't feel good, come back into your supported bridge prep with the block underneath you. Hands can be alongside the body, or again, just giving a little sensory feedback on the lower rib cage, warming that area where the diaphragm is. And then let's just take a little scan from the top of the head. And then let the head just drift a little right to left, left to right. Roll out that neck very, very gently. And when you've gone evenly on both sides, find your way back to center. And just check in with if you could relax the chin towards the chest and lengthen the back of the neck a little bit here. Let the eyeballs sink heavy into the back of the skull. If it feels safe where you are, close the eyes off. And then just take a breath, noticing how the air feels coming in through the nostrils, how that affects the torso and the core of the body. Let the tongue relax in the mouth, back of the throat relax. And then bring your awareness to the tops of the shoulders, the collarbones, the front of the shoulders. See if you can just let that area melt towards the floor. On an inhale, maybe you can notice the expansion of the upper back and the area around the heart. And on the exhale, maybe you can feel the sinking of the belly towards the spine. I'm just going to take a few more breaths here. Perhaps you can draw your awareness down into the pelvis, even relax those hip joints, letting the femur bones come a little bit more in, click in. Go ahead and take another full breath in. On your next exhale, just bend the knees towards the chest. Take a breath there. And then go ahead and bring the feet towards the mat. Press into the feet, lift the block out, set the pelvis back down, and then hug the knees towards the chest one more time. Rock a little side to side. As you rock side to side, allow your spine to lengthen as if you're tiptoeing the pelvis towards the foot end of the mat. And then find your way back to center. Hug those knees towards the chest. And on an exhale, draw your nose towards your knees. Curling yourself up into a little ball, closing all the joints, taking a full breath in. And as you exhale, release everything back down onto the mat. We're going to roll onto one side or the other. You can use your arm as a pillow to start. We'll bend the knees and bring the legs to stack on one another. And then we're going to bring the lower arm perpendicular to the body and set that block underneath the head or towel or book. And once we're here, we're just going to, you can have whatever hand is you're not lying on, either spidered in front of you or flat on the mat to give you a little bit of support. We're going to stack the feet and the legs. Then we're just going to clamshell the knees opened. Opening up the knees away from each other and then drawing them back together. And just see if you can notice where this action is coming from in your body. You might notice a little turning on of the core muscles, torso. And if you feel like you're clenching around your bum, see if you can relax that. Keep going. We're going to take about 5 more rounds. We're just moving that femur bone through the hip joint, separating the knees. One more. And then go ahead and stack the legs back on top of each other. We're going to take that top arm, that top hand, and see if we could reach to the top of the foot and just draw the heel towards the bum. As you do that, see if you can roll that top shoulder open. We're just going to keep bringing the foot towards the bummock. And then letting that shoulder start to rotate out and open. And then once you're here, we're going to press the top of the foot, press the foot as if you're trying to extend the leg into the hand and open that shoulder up a little bit more. See if you can find another full breath in. Full breath out. And then draw the heel back towards the bum. Give a little bit of effort with the arm, really draw it in. And then go ahead and release the leg. We're going to go ahead and roll on to the back, hug the knees towards the chest, rock a little side to side, and then roll over onto the other side and take the same pose. Rolling onto the side, stacking the legs, supporting the head with a block, having the lower arm perpendicular to the body. Top arm wherever it's comfortable, supporting as needed. And then go ahead with the feet stacked, keeping the feet together, open those knees as wide apart from each other as you can, and then stack them. And just notice where the muscular action starts to turn on or feel a little warmer or a little bit more effort. And see if you're clenching around the bum, if you can relax that and find the core muscles in the torso. Taking 5 more rounds, so keep going, nice and slow. Keep those feet together. Last one. And then release the effort. Let the legs stack. See if you can reach that upper foot with the upper arm and just draw it towards the bum. If this isn't available, just grab your belt. Squeeze that heel towards the bum. And then as you do that, notice if you're coming from really rolling that shoulder forward, if you can start to open that shoulder behind you, opening up the front of the chest. One more breath here. Squeezing the heel towards you. I'll just lift my legs so you can see a little bit. And then we're going to start to, as if we're trying to extend the leg straight and even open that shoulder a little bit more. You're going to keep everything in alignment. I'm just lifting my legs so you can see. One more breath. Press that foot into the hand, let the shoulder open, and then go ahead and release the effort. Turn that arm back on, squeeze the heel towards the bum. And then release any effort, coming into all fours in tabletop. Go ahead and line your hands and wrists up underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to take whatever organic movement feels good here. So if you want to sway side to side, if you want to take your hips in a circle, whatever feels nice. Make sure you move evenly on both sides, and then we're going to find our way back to center. Now we're going to take something to lift the, you can start with either side. I'm going to start with the left, to lift the left knee. So I have a soft block I'm going to bring under there. I just want that right knee to have a little bit of space. So towel, blanket, pillow, put it under the knee, one of the knees. And then with the leg that's not supported, we're just going to make a big circle. So with the right knee free, I'm just going to start with a big circle again, just noticing how that's affecting the body, seeing where the muscles are turning on, and then making sure I go in the other direction with that same circle. One more. And then bring it back into neutral. We're going to extend the lifted leg. For me, that's the right. We're going to extend that long. Bring the toes onto the mat and press into the ball of the foot. So heel is lifted, using the effort of the arms to press the body back, lengthening the right thigh. You might feel it in your right belly of your calf. See if you can find another full breath in. Full breath out. And then coming back into our neutral, we're going to take that right leg out to the right. Bring this time the sole of the foot is on the mat. So my foot is flat on the floor. And we're going to, again, just same thing, press into the hands and press ourselves back. Just notice where you feel it. Take 3 more breaths here. And then go ahead and come back into neutral. We'll bend the right knee, remove the block from the left leg, bring both knees onto the mat, and then again, that organic juicy movement. And then back to our neutral, we'll go ahead and lift the right knee or whichever knee wasn't lifted before. So that gives a little space to the other leg to take a big circle with the knee. So circling out with the left hip joint. And then make sure you change directions and take an even, about the same number of circles on the other side. And then go ahead and tuck the left toes, ball of the left foot on the mat or the floor, and just press into the hands and opening up the back of the other leg, the lifted leg. One more breath. All right. You're going to go ahead and take the lifted leg. For me, that's the left. I'm going to take it out to the side. The sole of the foot is on the mat. You might want to walk your hands forward to get a little bit more space to make that movement, pressing into the hands and arms and pushing the pelvis back. We're just taking 5 breaths here. So see if you can direct your breath to wherever you might feel tightness or tension, as if you could make some space there with the air you're breathing in. And just notice the effect that that has on the body. One more big, deep, full breath in. Make that a little more effort with the arms as you exhale. And then release. You can go ahead and bring both knees back to the mat and take that organic movement here. If you're taking circles, make sure you go on both sides, swaying both sides. We're going to go ahead and untuck the toes, take a full breath in from tabletop. As you exhale, rounding the back, draw the belly button towards the spine, release the crown of the head, really push the breath out, and then press your bum towards your heels so you land in child's pose with the full exhalation. Here in child's pose, take a full breath in, full breath out. And then inhale, forward in the tabletop, tuck the toes this time, look forward, find cow. Arching the back, drawing the shoulders away from the ears and shoulder blades together in the back. On the natural exhale, reverse the movement back into cat, untuck the toes, round the back, release the head, press yourself back into child's pose. Full breath in, full breath out. We're going to take about 5 more rounds like this. Inhale forward into cow, tuck the toes, arching the back, drawing the shoulder blades down. On your exhale, reversing the movement, finding cat. Really making effort to round the spine as you press yourself back into child's pose. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, let the bum fall towards the heels. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling with your breath into cat, rounding the back, drawing the belly button towards the spine, back into child's pose. Go ahead and find 3 more rounds on your own at your own pace. And then we'll all meet in child's pose. Go ahead and finish this last round. And as you come into child's pose, if the head doesn't come to the mat, go ahead and bring the block underneath the head. We're going to stay here just a couple more breaths. And if you'd like to start opening the shoulders a little bit more, you can bring the elbows to the mat and the hands together in prayer behind the head. Let's take another full breath in here. As you exhale, let the heart come towards the mat, shoulder blades coming together on the back. If you have the hands together behind the head, go ahead and bring them back to the mat. Press yourself back up into tabletop. Remove the block if you had it there for your head. And we're going to roll right down onto the belly. Now, once you're on the belly, shake the pelvis side to side. So you have plenty of space in the low back. We're going to make a cross with the arms straight out to the side. You can have your block underneath your head. So I'm going to start with the left side so I can turn towards you. Bring the block underneath the left temple. I'm going to walk my left fingertips out like this on the floor. And as I do that, I'm going to roll onto the left side. Now, once I'm here, I'm going to see if I can relax the lower leg and then bring the upper leg in front so I can use that to get a little leverage. Now, if that doesn't feel good, you could just stack both legs. If you have them stacked, even bring something between the knees. So the head is supported so the neck is not hanging. And then we can take that upper arm and just take some movement here. See what's happening. So maybe a rotation. And just opening up, rotating and rolling out that joint. And then you can come to settle with the upper arm. I like to turn the back of my hand towards the sacrum. And then that allows that upper shoulder to open up a little bit more. All right, we're going to see if we can find 3 more breaths here. And remember, you can direct your breath. If it feels like tightness or condensed tissue, breathe a little spaciousness into there and exhale out any tension. One more big full breath in. As you exhale, let your hand, if it's behind you, come back to the front of the body. Release both legs long. Roll back onto the belly and just shake the pelvis side to side. We'll transition to the other side so you can bring the block underneath your right temple. Make a cross with the arms. Walk the right fingertips out so you're laying on the right side body. And then use your leg and arm to help you get into any juicy spot. And then once you feel settled, just give that upper arm a little movement. And then when you feel like it's juiced up the joint, you're welcome to take the back of the hand onto the sacrum and just let that upper shoulder be opened. And let's see if we can find 3 more breaths here. Fabulous. We're going to roll back onto the belly. So release the hand from behind you. Extend the legs long. Rock the hips side to side. All right. So earlier when we were on our side, we were doing a little half bow pose where we were holding on to the top of the foot, starting by drawing the heel towards us. So we're going to see if we can find that on one side. Now, if you can't quite reach your foot, just grab a belt, put it around the top of the foot. We're going to go ahead and draw that heel in towards the bum for another full breath in, full breath out. And then we're going to start to extend the leg long and see how that is to lift the head and shoulder We're just going to take 3 breaths here with the effort of the leg, as if you're trying to extend that leg long. Opening up the shoulder, looking forward. Make a little bit more effort for this last inhale, trying to extend the leg, but holding on to it. And then release the head back down. Release the leg long. Shake the hips a little side to side. And then go ahead and bend the other knee. Reach for the top of the foot. Draw the foot towards the bum, the heel towards the bum. Take a couple breaths here. So you might feel that lengthening in the front of the quad, even in the front of the belly. And then with the effort of the leg, as if you're trying to take the leg and straighten the leg, go ahead and press that foot into the hand and get a lift in that shoulder, head, looking forward. Just 3 breaths here. And then go ahead and release the foot back towards the bum. Give it a squeeze. Extend both legs and then shake the hips side to side. Go ahead and pop yourself back up into tabletop. Take some movement here. We're going to come into a supported back bend. So we're doing a little bow pose, back bend on the low back. Now we're going to open up in the upper chest. So you can use a big firm bolster, a blanket rolled towel, or you could use a block in between the shoulder blades. And I'll show you, we usually do it with a block. So I'll show you today what it could look like with a bolster or a pillow. We'd have the pelvis heavy and then the head supported, the heart area lifted. Now I like to find a way to have my arms grounded. Sometimes it can be a little weird to, depending on the size of the bolster. It's if you can have both your pelvis grounded and at least your lower arms grounded and your head. Now, if you have a lot of head and neck tension, you're going to probably want to bring something to support the head. We don't want to leave the head hanging in space. Whatever way you can support the heart from behind with either bolster, towel, or block. Make sure the head is grounded. And then for now, we're just going to walk the feet wide apart with the knees bent and let the knees come into each other. If you prefer to have your legs extended, go ahead and do that. But sometimes that can make a little tension in the low back. So to start, you might just want to feel the difference between the knees bent and the leg straightened, and then make your preference. And here with the heart lifted, making a supported back bend in the upper back, we're just going to relax into this. If the mind starts to wander, it can be a nice practice to count the length of the inhale and then count the length of the exhale. If you really want to relax, you want to make your exhale a little bit longer than your inhale. So you can play around with that, just counting the inhale, counting the exhale, lengthening the exhale, and then even lengthening both the inhale and the exhale. We're going to be here about another minute, so make any adjustments you need to be able to settle back in. Just staying with noticing. And if the mind wanders, even just noticing that the mind is wandering. Let's see if we can find 3 more breaths here. Perhaps you can still lengthen the breath. And then releasing any effort with the breath, letting the arms come up overhead. Maybe the fingertips can come to the mat. Take a nice stretch there, feeling that center line, opening up in the armpits. And we're going to roll to one side or the other and go ahead and come up. All right. Once we're up, we're going to go ahead and bring the legs in front of us, find staff pose. Now, if you have a pillow or bolster nearby, you can bring this onto the legs and even just come forward and let yourself be supported. If you don't have a bolster or pillow nearby, I invite you to bend the knees, wrap your arms around the thighs, and then start to straighten the legs with the thighs close to the belly. So the knees stay bent in this one. If you're wrapping your arms around or you're using a pillow to support the upper body. And then go ahead and release the head, the crown of the head, and we're just going to breathe here 5 breaths. Go ahead and find one more full breath in. On the exhale, release the weight of the head again and just stay here one more breath. If you have a hold of the legs, you're going to bend the knees first, unwrap the arms, and then draw yourself up. And if you're just in staff pose with the pillow, you'll just move the pillow aside. We're going to bring the left foot into the right thigh. Go ahead and move the fleshy bits out. And today we're going to turn towards the bent leg. Bring the same arm as the extended leg into the belly of the thigh. Turn ourselves open. We're getting a side stretch here. So lifting up the arm of the bent leg and then go ahead and reach towards the arm of the straightened leg or extended leg. And you can use that arm bone that's pressing into the thigh to give you a little leverage and maybe even take some of the weight from the head. So you're turned as much as you can with your heart open towards the front, staying here 3 more breaths. And then go ahead and let the upper arm come back up. This time we'll take the right foot into the left thigh. Extend the left leg long, take out the fleshy bits, turn our chest as much as we can towards the bent leg. Draw the elbow of the same arm as the extended leg into the thigh. So we can use that leverage to turn our chest towards the bent knee. Take the arm of the bent knee up and over towards the extended leg, keeping the heart open. So in other words, not collapsing down facing the floor, but looking forward so you're getting the stretch in the side body. Take another full breath in. Oh, full breath out. And then reach that upper arm up. And then go ahead and come back onto the mat. We're going to roll onto the back. We'll start in our bridge prep and we're going to bring our block handy. Go ahead and roll onto the back, hug the knees towards your chest, rock a little side to side, fetal pose. We're going to have a nice twist here, just a double leg twist. So go ahead and bring your feet to the mat and bridge prep, press into the feet, lift the pelvis, scooch the pelvis over to the right, lift both knees, place the block between the knees, and both legs are going to come to stack over on the left side. Now, that might lift your right shoulder a little bit off the mat. So then bend the arms, press into the upper arm bones, and see if you can shimmy that right shoulder back down to the mat. If it's still quite lifted, you can bring something to support the legs. So as if you're lifting the floor, place a pillow or something under the legs so that right shoulder is grounded. Go ahead and turn the hands towards the ceiling. And as you do that, see if you can, again, just tuck the shoulder blades down and do you a little bit more. And then we're just going to stay here and settle in a little bit. Let the legs get heavy. Gravity is doing all the work in this pose, so all we have to do is let go. And then if you want to open up a little bit more in the upper back, go ahead and look the eyes to the right. Let the head roll towards the right. And then just pause there. Don't push it. Just let the head go as much or as little as it would like. And then go ahead and close off the eyes here. Go back to the breath. You're welcome to take another count of your breath here and just see if the breath has lengthened or if it's shortened in this pose, and see if you can bring it back to your longer, more extended count. Let's see if we can just find a few more breaths here. And if you've turned your head towards the right, go ahead and roll it back so the nose is back towards the ceiling, and then go ahead and take another few breaths here. And then reach down and remove the block and just tiptoe your legs and your feet back to center. Don't try to lift the legs after you've done all that nice release of the back. Once you reach center, you might feel a little jiggity jaggedy. So again, draw the knees towards the chest, rock and roll on the spine, and just find your way back to center so we can take it on the other side. So from the middle, put the feet on the mat, bridge prep pose. This time we're going to press in the feet, scooch the pelvis to the left, lift the legs, knees bent 90 degrees, place the block in. This time the legs are coming over to the right. So letting the legs come over to the right, and then seeing if you can get that left shoulder back down to the mat by pressing the upper arm bones. And then taking a few breaths to just settle into allowing gravity to do the work. So maybe you notice if you're holding a little bit, trying to hold the weight of the upper leg, or if that shoulder's not all the way down to the mat. And then if you feel pretty good here, I invite you to let the eyes look to the left and let the head roll over to the left as little or as much as you would like. And pause here. And let the eyes close up if it feels safe. And then just letting the breath and gravity do all the work. I'm just going to take a couple more breaths on the side. So I invite you, if you're doing the breath count, just check in, see if it's gotten shorter or longer, and bring it back to center. And if you've looked the head over to the left, go ahead and roll it back. Take a few breaths here. And then go ahead and reach down, remove the block, walk the feet in, tiptoe the feet in, find your center back in fetal pose, hugging the knees towards the chest, rock a little side to side. And we're going to come into a banana here, or crescent moon. So we're going to scooch ourselves all the way over to the right side of the mat. And then extend the legs long and the arms up above you. Tuck the shoulder blades in and just find the center line for a moment, pulling the toes and the fingers as far away from each other as possible. And then relax any effort, and we're going to walk the heels over towards the left as much as we can while still keeping that right hip grounded. So we don't want to go so far that the right hip starts to come up off the ground. Again, we're just getting a side body stretch. So walk the heels over. And then we're going to see how it feels to stack the right heel on top of the left and create a little lock there. Still, the right hip is staying on the mat. And then you can grab a hold of the right wrist and just draw it over towards the left until, again, we're keeping the shoulder and the hip on the mat. We're just stretching through the side body and then letting any effort of the hands release and relax one palm into the other. We're not going to stay here a long time. We're going to see if we can find 5 to 7 breaths to just breathe into the side body and open up that whole right side. Go ahead and see if you can find one more big full breath in and a full breath out. And then we're going to walk the hands back, release the hold of the ankles. Once again, coming into our center in fetal pose, rock a little side to side. Notice any difference between the left and right. And then we're going to scoochie ourselves over to the left side of the mat. Extend the legs, extend the arms up overhead. Pull the fingers and toes far away from each other as you can get, and then go ahead and walk both feet over to the right. Stack the left ankle over the right. Grab a hold of the left wrist, draw yourself over to the right, and now opening on that left side body, just 5 to 7 breaths. Go ahead and find one more big full breath in here. Releasing yourself into the shape on the exhale. And then go ahead and drawing everything back towards center, coming back into your fetal pose. Rock a little side to side. Once you're in fetal pose, we're going to come into a little happy baby here. So you can open up the knees, bring the peace fingers around the toes or grab onto the outside edges of the feet, or even turn the palms towards the ceiling and just relax the heels into the hands. And we're just going to find a few breaths here in happy baby. Maybe if you're in more active happy baby, you want to extend one leg and then the other. And just giving a little release to that low back before we come into our savasana. And if you have any tension in the low back, for sure, grabbing your bolster or pillow for underneath the legs or thighs. And then extending your legs long on the mat. Rolling the shoulder blades underneath you, opening the arms up on either side of the body, palms towards the ceiling, finding your way to shavasana. And I'm going to take you through a short guided relaxation here. So I invite you to close off the eyes, let the eyeballs sink into the skull. And you can use autosuggestion by repeating silently to yourself. Or you can just follow the sound of my voice. I relax my toes, my feet, and my ankles. I relax my toes, my feet, and my ankles. My toes, my feet, and my ankles are relaxed. I relax my calves, my shins, and my knees. I relax my calves, shins, and my knees. My whole lower leg is relaxed. I relax my thighs, my buttocks, and my pelvis. I relax my thighs, my buttocks, and my pelvis. My whole lower leg and my pelvis is relaxed. I relax my low back, my middle back, and my upper back. I relax my low back, my middle back, and my upper back. The whole of my spine and my back is relaxed. I relax my belly, my heart, and my shoulders. I relax my belly, my heart, and my shoulders. The whole of the torso and the front body is relaxed. I relax my fingers, my hands, and my wrists. I relax my fingers, my hands, and my wrists. The whole of my hands and wrists are relaxed. I relax my forearms, my elbows, and my upper arms. I relax my forearms, my upper arms, my elbows. The whole of the arm is relaxed. I relax my shoulders, collarbones, and my throat. I relax my shoulders, my collarbones, and my throat. The whole of my shoulders and throat are relaxed. I relax my neck, my face, my tongue. I relax my neck, my face, my tongue. The whole of my neck and face relax. I relax my throat, my eyes, and my mind. I relax my throat, my eyes, and my mind. The whole of my head is relaxed. My whole body rests in complete relaxation. My whole body revives through complete relaxation. The whole of my body is completely relaxed. And I invite you now, if you are comfortable here, to just stay here indefinitely until your body naturally wants to get up. If for any reason you do need to wake up now, just slowly bring your awareness back to the toes and the feet. Give the toes and the feet a little wiggle. Bring the whole of your awareness into the hands and just start giving gentle movement to the hands and fingers. And then waking up both the feet and the hands until you're ready to start rolling out the wrists and the ankles. Perhaps ready to bend the knees and the elbows. And just taking a little organic movement as you awaken from the feet and the hands towards the center. You can start bringing your hands overhead, walk your feet towards each other, and once again, find that center line. And with the mind's eye, take a little scan of the whole body, and just remembering how this feels now after your slow and gentle practice. You can remember this is available to you anytime. When you're ready, you can bend the knees, roll over onto one side or the other, use the arm as a pillow, take a moment there, feel a pose. And then whatever arm you're not leaning on, go ahead and press yourself up. Hope you have a really, really great day. I hope for you West Coasters where it's evening, you are just letting yourself go into your sweet, sweet dreams.